Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by ATV Amy today. We are starting the video off here at High Clearance UTV in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We brought the 2023 Kawasaki KRX in to see John and his crew for some upgraded 35-inch tires and some new tender springs. I thought, well, this is a good time for a well overdue 7-month, 2,500 mile review of what we think the Kawasaki KRX is like compared to our previous buggy, the Can-Am X3. So Juicy's gonna pop on here and give his thoughts and review on what he feels with the Kawasaki KRX. We also did have our first issue at about 2,400 miles on the KRX, and he's gonna give his thoughts and show you how he resolved it and all of that. So make sure you watch to the end of the video to see what's up with that. Thank you for watching our video. We appreciate y'all. And if you feel like you like this video, share it with your friends, give it a thumbs up, or shoot. Subscribe to the channel to see what happens as we progress in our journey with this beast of a buggy. Really happy with how it turned out with these tires. Always an adventure. Enjoy the video. Later.
How's it going, y'all? This is going to be I was supposed to do a 6-month review, but it's going to be the 7th month review with this buggy. We got about 2,500 miles on it. We've just recently done 3 upgrades. We've put some 35-inch tires on here, X-Comps, some all things tender springs, and my favorite, I know that adds at least 10 horse right there. We come from a Can-Am X3. This is a night and day difference. Overall with this buggy, very pleased. It is not super fast, but it does get up to speed very well. It is definitely a trail riding buggy. Completely designed for that. You put this thing in low and 4-wheel drive and it just goes. I'm really pleased with it. There's not a lot of things on here I don't like. I would say maybe the dust, and it does get a little hot. So upgrades that we've done would be the SSV Works stereo system. This is the plug and play ride rock one. We put a heating system on here. Had that done by the dealer. We added a glass front windshield, the wiper with a sprayer. I added seismic mirrors, rough country light bar. We've added these KRX covers for the frog skins for the breathers. We had these little cheapy whips. We've also added, what else do we do? Besides the tires, springs, tender springs. I had these bags for storage. I would like to figure out a little bit better storage back behind the seat one of these days. And that's about all. I did have to put a new winch in it. The first one, I accidentally moved the winch switch down to here. I put a cup in the holder, had the stereo turned up. Didn't hear it, but it hit the button. It was drawing the winch in, ended up burning up the factory one, which was a nice worn winch. I put a rough country one back in though. User error there, my bad. I really like this machine. It's great on the roads, and it's really great on the trails. It's not a speed demon on the highway, but most time you can't go that fast anyway. The more I drive it on the trails, the more I like it. It's very easy to drive. I run it low. I would say this is probably, I feel like, a better buggy suited for the style of riding we do than the X3 was. The X3 was really good for getting around, and it was totally capable, but its lack of storage and visibility is not much of a trail riding buggy, where this one's a little more designed for that. I did also just recently add in the fuel rollover valve. The ones that come on these are very weak. It took us a couple thousand miles before we finally had an issue with it. It was on a very, very hot day. The fuel rollover valves they come with are designed to not allow any vapors in the air, but you have to release some gas vapors, otherwise it gets too hot. As we found out, it vapor locked on us on the highway, which the fix for that to get back home was basically just releasing the fuel cap over here. Once I released the fuel cap, let it air down, then it was fine. So I just recently replaced that. I did also do the fuel rail with a center dump. Great upgrade. Highly recommend it to any KRX. The way it changes the throttle, the idle, it makes it so much more responsive. It actually, in my opinion, kind of almost quieted it down just a little bit. And then when you're going, it doesn't feel like it's working as hard with the motor. So I did that, the rollover valve, and just changed the fuel filter. Just as an overall, I hope that it greatly helps with that issue. And other than that, in the 2,500 miles that it has on it, that has been the only issue this machine has had, which is pretty fantastic. I haven't even changed the brake pads yet. I checked them the other day. They're probably half, maybe just a little bit less, a little bit more than that, but I'll have to do that next. But other than that, love how no maintenance hardly. Changing the oil is super easy, very relatively inexpensive also. Access to the air filter is very easy. The maintenance on this I highly recommend because it's not expensive and you can just kind of go. Every 400 miles I do take the clutch cover off, clean the belts out, blow everything off, keep that clean. This still is the stock belt at 2,500 miles. Never had an issue, never had a slip. I only had to heat up a little bit once on a highway, but we'd been going for a long distance. And other than that, no issues. Extremely pleased with it. Cleans up very well. Plastics look good, considering. We got some good scratches from some trails. It's getting there. But overall, really like this thing. Very pleased with it. And I'm very excited to go out and try these new tires. We've only been down the road just a little bit. And overall, felt great, rode great. But I'm excited to see what it'll do on the trails. Alright guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you about replacing our fuel filter valve, or fuel filter, and the fuel rollover valve. The KRXs are known for having a bad rollover valve on the fuel, causing it to vapor lock, and it did happen to us. We got it back in February, so we have about 2,500 miles on it before it finally gave us an issue. It was on a day that it was 100 degrees outside, and we've been riding pretty hard all day, and it got to a point where it just started vapor locking on the highway, and it wouldn't go, no power. I would have to pull over and turn off the gas cap and release the pressure, and it would work for a little while, but basically the gas had gotten so hot in there, I think it was at the boiling point, that it came to the point where we had to actually stop completely and just let it sit with the cap off and let it cool itself down. And once I did that, we were able to get back home. So I'm going to replace that fuel rollover valve, which should solve it. I did already put in a new fuel rail center dump from Full Access. I did not film that. I should have, but I was kind of in a hurry just to do it. It is overall a super easy process. You take off the plastic nuts here, these bolts, and these bolts in the center down here. The bed comes out, the fuel rail sits right here. It has 2 screws and then 1 little clip. Really, really easy. Once I got the bed off, it took me less than 5 minutes to change the fuel rail. Did notice a huge difference with the fuel rail. Not only was it smoother running, the engine felt like it wasn't working so hard, that it wasn't getting very hot, and then to me it sounded like it actually quieted the machine down. It's still loud, but it's not nearly as loud as it was before. Like I said, very easy. Highly recommend it. It changed everything about how this thing ran. This is the old fuel rail. The new one comes in through the center and goes to both cylinders. This one came in from one side and then went across, and I feel like this design from Kawasaki is a little lacking. The new one was very nice and easy to do. Well worth it. All right, I'm gonna get working on taking out the seat to get to the fuel valve back here, and then to change the fuel filter is down below the seat in the fuel tank. I will show you as I go. All right, I want to show you guys how to get to the fuel rollover valve. I've already put it in. Basically, there's a couple clips here, gives you a couple zip ties. This one looks way more heavy duty. Super easy. You got this little panel here that you just simply pop off. Mine took a little longer because I have a subwoofer, which subwoofer covers that panel, but other than that, it literally was like a 5-minute process. Pull the hose off, undo the clamps. Here is the old one. This one's set up for emissions, so it doesn't allow any vapors in the air. It's very cheap. I see why it has issues. Where this one's a lot more heavy duty with a big huge ball bearing in the middle of it. So I feel pretty confident it's going to help the issue with the vapor lock. Let me put this back together and then I'll start on the fuel filter. Like that is where I need to remove. I think I better blow this out a little bit. Looks pretty bad. Alright, got her a little cleaned up better. Don't get any contaminants in there. I did have to pull back. I put some rubber lining across all this to help with the dust. It greatly does help. Next is going to be figuring out some door seals, but alright, that looks a lot better. I'm using a 5/16 socket head. I have to go find me a little. My regular wrenches reach those, looks like. I simply pulled the clip here, unclipped it, that pulls right out of there. I did that one, just wedged it up there out of my way. Should have a better spot to put that one, but not a lot of room to work right here. And let that drain a little. Don't try and get too much gas everywhere. Alright, I just basically took off the bottom of this. It's got a couple little clips, you kind of squeeze them in. Looks like that is the stock fuel filter. Doesn't look too dirty to me. And we will be putting on these new ones here from Full Access. Alright, got the new one put in. Put the bottom back clip back on. I know I've seen a lot of posts about other older model KRXs that the float does not sit down flat on here. Looks like this one does, so I will not have to mess with it. Some of the older ones, the gas readings was a little off because they were bent up, but this one appears to be sitting down pretty flat like I've seen that it needs to be. So that should be about it. I'm going to wipe it off and get her put back in. Right to me. I'd say overall this was relatively easy. Just take your time, you know, you're working with little plastic components, so you don't want anything to break or strip. But not too bad really. I'm probably 25, maybe 30 minutes into it. I'm gonna finish getting all these put back in, everything tightened up, and put back together. Alright, got everything put back. Let's fire it up, make sure it starts. Yep, running, idling good, and sounds pretty good. Not too bad. Get the seat put back. Good to go. Quick overview here. Replace the fuel rail with a center dump one. This was the factory come in from one side over. Replace the fuel rollover valve and a fuel filter. I don't know if it's supposed to be black like that. I'm not really sure, but either way, replaced it with a new one. Looks like this one. Pretty easy. I'm not an expert, I'm not a mechanic, and overall this was very, very easy. I think just about anybody that could do it that has a little bit of automotive sense. But hope you guys enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.